Hey, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. Today is the day that we've all been waiting for. A Land of the Lost reboot has been announced for Netflix in the year of our Lord 2025. The announcement, that is. We probably won't get the show for a while. But it's been announced. The articles are here. Many articles, pretty much all saying the same thing. And, you know, I'm the Land of the Lost guy, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to read the article and, you know, revel in the excitement together. I'd love to hear all of your inputs in the comments, and it's a bright future for us Land of the Lost and Croft fans. So this particular article that we will be reading is from Variety.com. It came out at 11:59 a.m. on June 17th, 2025, which is like the D-Day, the ground zero of this new project. This is our official confirmation of show date. And this article on Variety.com by Joe Otterson. This is the article that was linked by the Crofts on their official Instagram story, and I believe this was also the one that was posted by Wesley on Facebook, which is where I saw it for the very first time, although he could have posted another one, I'm not sure, but they're all basically the same article saying the same thing, which is: a reboot of Land of the Lost is in early development at Netflix, Variety has learned from sources. Original series co-creators Sid and Marty Krofft are attached as executive producers, with Diana Krofft Pope also set to produce. Legendary Television will produce. No writer is currently attached. Netflix declined to comment. Original Land of the Lost debuted in '74, 3 seasons, NBC, Crofts, Rick Marshall, Will and Holly. Yeah, the rest is, you know, Lizard like Slee Stacks. The show starred Wesley, Kathy Coleman. Yeah, so the rest of the article is saying stuff we already know. Though it only had a short run on TV, Land of the Lost has developed a cult following over the years. That's very true. Here we are. After its initial cancellation, CBS eventually aired the show in reruns on Saturday morning in the mid-'80s. That's also true. A remake then aired on ABC for 2 seasons beginning in 1991, and the Will Ferrell movie in '09. That's right, so we have the 70s Land of the Lost, the 90s Land of the Lost, the 2009 Land of the Lost movie, and now the 2020 blank Land of the Lost reboot. This is the 4th Land of the Lost, everybody. Get hype, I'm hype. Anyway, Land of the Lost was one of several shows produced by the Crofts. Yes. A lot of previous information we know for the basic people reading that don't know. The non-Croft mega fans. This marks Netflix's latest attempt at reviving an older series. The streamer recently commissioned a pilot to follow up A Different World, a new version of Little House on the Prairie. Netflix also previously aired new versions of Lost in Space, One Day at a Time, and Good Times. Yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, as they say, Netflix, as the article points out, Netflix is not a stranger to rebooting classic series. I watched the new Lost in Space, some of the new Lost in Space. I didn't finish it, and I'm also not a good source because I haven't seen the original Lost in Space, I know. As much as I love 70s stuff, I'm sure I would love the original Lost in Space. But the point is, this isn't Netflix's first rodeo in terms of making a reboot of a classic show. So, what can we dissect out of this? Firstly, Netflix. That's big, just because of accessibility. The fact that there are going to be so many people just scrolling through Netflix when it comes out, and they'll just see it by chance and be like, oh, Land of the Lost, I remember that. It doesn't even matter what they're remembering, if they're remembering the 70s show or the 2009 movie or whatever. So, just from an accessibility standpoint, for getting new people into the fandom, it being on Netflix is huge. And for accessibility, like, for everyone, you know what I mean? Because as big as it was for the entirety of the Croft catalog to be put onto Cineverse. Cineverse is a relatively unknown streaming service, and, you know, it is free, so, you know, it doesn't take a lot to go out of your way and watch the Croft shows on Cineverse, and it's great for them to be there. But this just makes it that much more accessible for the people that aren't necessarily Croft fans, but that will be after they see the new show. And the other thing that we can get from this article that doesn't have much is, in terms of information, is the fact that Legendary Television will produce it. No writer. They're still looking for a writer. Another thing that we can confirm is the fact that David Gerald has not been approached as of yet, because he has made posts on Facebook confirming this. But Legendary Television will produce. Now, if we look at their previous works, this is a list of their television series, and this is a list of their films that they've done before. And some good stuff. I mean, they're not strangers to Croft shows. You know, they were the ones behind the 2016 Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. And they were also, I was talking about the Lost in Space reboot that I had seen. They were the ones behind that also. So my hope is through the roof, because it seems like Legendary Television, it seems like these guys know what they're doing. They were also the people behind Pacific Rim, the show on Netflix, as well as Skull Island, show on Netflix, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV, the Tomb Raider series on Netflix, and Dune Prophecy on HBO. So, yeah, these guys got their hand in a lot of stuff, show-wise. They've had their hand in movies since 2005. I mean, their first show was in 2015, yeah, so their first movie was way before that, with Batman Begins, and then a Superman movie, you know, 300, The Hangover, and its sequels, Pacific Rim, Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla. They were part of Jurassic World in 2015, so they know something about dinosaurs, maybe. Straight Outta Compton, that was a good movie. And yeah, they do a lot with King Kong, lots of King Kong and Godzilla, so, and Jurassic franchise. So this is the special effects should not be an issue. And we'll get into that in terms of expectations and stuff. Oh, look, they were part of Minecraft movie. That's crazy. So yes, once again, to summarize, Land of the Lost reboot, coming to Netflix, produced by Legendary Pictures, with the Crofts attached, of course. No writer yet, but this is obviously incredibly exciting news. And, yeah, so let's talk about expectations, you know. I think I speak for every Land of the Lost fan and Croft fan in general when I say we need this to be taken seriously above all else. It doesn't need to look super flashy. It doesn't need to have crazy special effects. It just needs to be a quality story, not a comedy, not too campy, you know, not too cheesy, and it can be a little bit of all of these things. A little bit of humor is good, and it's needed. A little bit of cheesy is good, and that would be faithful to the original, it being a little bit cheesy. What we can't have is it going full-blown off-the-rails sexual comedy. I'm not saying any names. You get out of here. You go. But we also don't want to play it too safe, you know what I mean? We also don't want to make it too kid-like, you know? I'm not naming any names. Hey, look, what are you doing here? Okay, anyway. It just needs to be a nice, cool sci-fi premise that takes itself seriously and is viewable for a family audience. It can get a little bit scary, and it should, especially with new Sleestack and new dinosaur special effects. Another thing I think all fans want to see is a continuation on established lore. You know, things can certainly be different, and they probably should be for a refreshing aspect. You know, we don't want everything to be the exact same, but we certainly want to expand upon the already beautiful lore that was created by David Gerald. And fingers crossed, because we're still in incredibly early stages of this thing. Like, this thing, you know, I have 2020X attached to this project. Who knows? It could not come out until the 2030s. Like, you know, these things take time. But fingers crossed that they contact David Gerald and have him be some sort of, you know, writing assistant or writer's guide, or, like, you know, maybe a more official thing, maybe like the actual, you know, executive writer or something. But it would be great if he could, like, stamp of approval their lore You know, if David Gerald was able to give his blessing on whatever lore expansion they make, because it was his original brainchild, it was his genius that created the Land of the Lost that we know and love. I want to know more about the Altrusians and the creation of Altrusia, you know, and the creation of the Land of the Lost, rather, and Altrusia also. But, you know, they could show us the fall of Altrusia and the rise of the Sleestack. Like, the possibilities are endless. We want to see pylons, we want to see matrix tables, you know, we want to see these things, even if they're in their newer form. We want to see them and recognize them and learn more about them and find out these unanswered questions. And, of course, it would also be nice if there was some sort of connection to the original series, even if it was just a little Easter egg or something in the background. And I feel like they'll do that because it's too big of a... It's too more recognizable of an IP, you know. Even people that aren't Croft fans know Land of the Lost if you were alive during the 70s. And even if you weren't alive during the 70s, if you were alive during the 80s, you saw reruns. In the 90s, you saw reruns. In the early 2000s, I saw reruns. So it's really never died, as they say. The cult following thing is true. So here we are, Land of the Lost 4, the 4th rendition coming. It is real. It's not a hoax, and I feel so blessed in a world where we've gotten a Futurama reboot, a Total Drama reboot, all of these reboots of all these different shows that I love, and Land of the Lost probably at the very top of that list of ones that I've wanted, and people have been waiting for a lot longer than I have. So, we're here. Let's get excited. Discuss in the comments. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on any updates as soon as they come out. And, you know, I'll keep my eyes peeled on the Facebook page, the Land of the Lost Facebook group, which you should all join if you're not already, because updates happen the fastest there, and that's where I learned of the show originally, when Wesley Ear posted the article. Thank you, Wesley.
Thank you for watching Land of the Lord.
When I look
All around, I can't believe the things I've found. Now I need to find my way. I'm lost, find me living in the land of the lost, living in the land of the lost.